How are you, ladies and gentlemen of the interweb? I have some news, theories, and McDonald's, and I'm only willing to share two of the three. Resident Evil 8 is coming. We know that, it's leaked countless times, and with that, we know it's going to take place on a secret lab and deal with some crazy experiments. We also know that Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, the originals, are no longer canon. They do not exist, so feel free to throw them away into my game room for my shrine to erect Jill Sandwich. But in the events of Resident Evil 2, the canon one, the 2019 one, there's a magazine that says Raccoon City event took place 16 years ago. This asset is from Resident Evil 7 Black Ops Zombie Chronicles. I will never let that meme die, but seriously, we know some pretty crazy things went down in the labs that made Evelyn, who illegally penetrated the entire Baker family residence. We also know Umbrella tried to create dimensional shifts. I can't remember where that was said, but we know it happened. So who's to say between this magazine and the Umbrella wackiness and the special friends that Lucas had and the only Resident Evil part of Resident Evil 7, the Not a Hero story DLC. If you haven't played it, then basically Lucas was transferring everything about Evelyn to a third party, which how would they know of this? How would they be able to create a lab right there and all that so quickly? Time travel. Things aren't adding up. But this is where the leaks come in. Resident Evil 8 will deal with a secret lab and secret research. This research is straight time travel, I feel like. Capcom is not going to mess up with putting that magazine there for no reason. They would 100% remove it. That is the Capcom way. The time travel research would explain how that magazine got into the Resident Evil 2 remake when the Raccoon City event was taking place right then, not 16 years ago. And how all that lab and everything was made in Resident Evil 7 without anyone knowing so quickly. And even the parts of other games that are confusing to everyone, such as how they always knew where Leon and team would be. A time travel aspect would definitely be something Capcom would pull. I mean, what's scarier than having the power to infect anybody at any time with these viruses? The game could reveal that this is where the Black Plague started, or where the vanished colony from the Pilgrims went. Like, there's so much that this time travel could explain, and it could even lead to a retcon or two, such as why did Chris's partner choose to stay underwater when he had survived? Maybe, just maybe, that's because there was time travel involved and he knew about it. He's from the future and he knew that he could be saved right then and there. How is this the same virus? This same virus happening over and over again when they always destroy the research? Is there a time traveling band who's just implementing the virus and how to do it into research? Because the initial outbreak in Raccoon City took close to 40 years of research to happen. And if you throw in basic science, if a new company attempted that in an error, like back then before you were able to put things in the cloud, then it would have been easily 12 years, at least 2010, before a new virus could happen, and that's only if a scientist or two escaped. But even that, how did it get to where Code Veronica took place? The only answer is time travel. We could see Resident Evil 8 take place in many eras. Maybe we'll see Chris chasing down the culprit through Raccoon City 1998 during the outbreak, and he'll see his kid sister, and maybe he'll even see Jill, and at this point he will have a full-on emotional breakdown in classic Chris Redfield fashion. The introduction to time travel could fix a lot of the issues within Resident Evil, and even allow us to enjoy some mini remakes within the newer games, such as we could maybe go into China and try to stop that outbreak from happening via time travel, ultimately fail, and then have to go back to our time and continue chasing down the culprit. This would be a very action horror kind of thing, which is definitely the road the series is going back down into. If you played Resident Evil 2 Remake, action horror is definitely where Resident Evil truly shines. Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 4 are considered the best games in the series for a reason. This is all to the beat of Capcom's drum. It would definitely be something they would try, and it would even feed into the complexity of the Resident Evil storyline, just as we had explained, and would also explain how the events of Project Cross Zone took place. For those of you that do not know, Project Cross Zone was a Nintendo 3DS RPG. There was 2 games. They were canon to every single game that was being featured, and you see the events of Dead Rising, you see the events of Resident Evil, Mega Man, and many other video games throughout the Capcom Bandai Namco history. And that was honestly quite odd to see all that going down, but at the end of the day, it is still canon. So when you throw what we know from the mainline Resident Evil games and the side games, whether it be Outbreak Chronicles, Project Cross Zone, or whatever, This is definitely shaping up to be something that Capcom could do. So when you mix it all together, what do you get? You get a delicious, refreshing Sprite Capcom Berry. This is of course just a theory. Let me know what you think. Is it plausible? Would you be okay if they did this time travel aspect? Would you think it would be a step in the wrong direction? I think it would be really interesting, and I think it would be really cool. I don't see any negative side effects of doing this. I only see the ability to make a beautiful Resident Evil 8 in the style of Resident Evil 2 Remake or Resident Evil 4, and also fixing the story from the past, kind of retconning Resident Evil 6 to make it seem more like a Resident Evil game, kind of fixing it in a way. And then at that point, we can see the time travel aspect taking place. We can see everything going down. We can fix it. We might even be able to go into the future with Chris Redfield and everybody. Or maybe it'll just open up a whole new complexity that we will not be able to get out, that we will not be able to fix. I don't know. But with all the evidence that we have, it definitely seems like time travel could be a possibility for Capcom and Resident Evil 8. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen of the interweb, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Try not to die, and I will see you in the next video.